What will we look like in 5 years? If this particular situation is allowed to continue, I can guarantee that the professionals that we have now will almost be non-existent. Well, you can take myself, for example. 55-year-old woman, professional, degree, no longer able to work because the company that once employed me cannot afford to pay under the current circumstances. Someone who has my work experience, as well as my pay history, is possibly not going to be someone that can be placed anytime soon. If you consider the positions that are being let go or downsized because of this current situation, the majority of the people who are being let go are the top tier people. So let's look at some of the ads that are coming across the job boards. The majority of them are for grocery store stockers, people who work behind the cash registers, hardworking individuals, but clearly positions that if someone with my skill set were to take for any length of time would clearly not be able to keep up with my standard bills, let alone any of the luxuries that I've decided to afford myself. Well, to be honest with you, I have always been a person who can do without any of the luxuries. I can stretch a bag of beans longer than anybody. But when you're in your mid-50s going into your 60s, is that the outlook that you want? Now, some would say that by a specific age, you should have already amassed a large enough savings. But if you consider that there was at least 2 big crashes in between the time that I've been able to work and now, you would imagine that more than likely I had to get up a couple of 2 or 3 times just to get where I am today. With that said, I'm not alone in this analysis. So what is it going to look like in 5 years? Wow, I can tell you, it's going to look like a lot of educated people doing jobs that will eventually be phased out. Because you and I know that if it were not for this particular situation, the majority of the checkers and the cash people would not even have a job. I said in one of my recent posts that I've always wondered if I get paid for bagging my own groceries at one of those self-checkout counters. Well, we all know that in the future, that's exactly what it's going to be. And there will again be a bevy of people on the unemployment line. Yeah, what is it going to look like in 5 years? I can only imagine that it would possibly look a lot like a communistic or social society. One that people who have worked so hard to educate themselves and to make sure that they took enough credits and courses to keep themselves sharp in the job market, competitive and such. One where those individuals will be recessed and pushed back further and further. This particular situation that we're dealing with here right now in the United States is a dire situation. It's one that if you don't look carefully and you don't zig when you should zig and you zag when you should have zigged, you could be out of the market for quite some time. Well, folks, it's time for you to reinvent yourself, reinvent the wheel, find out what it is you have as a natural skill and hone that in and do your best to sharpen it, because I can tell you that you're going to need it. Long gone are the days where people with excellent skill sets can go out and get a job, because now you're going to have the thankless millennial to interview with. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart Perspective.